Now, let's talk about some of the reasons on why you should go for Irish CBD. It's easy, it's cheap, and it's reversible. Hi everyone, I'm Irena from Nomad Capitalist, where we help people to go where they're treated best. Before we move on to see whether you can qualify for Irish citizenship by descent or how the application process works, let's talk about some of the benefits on why you should get one. Of course, if you're one of the lucky ones to have the ancestor from Ireland. Some of the benefits of having the Irish passports are, well, the first one is actually access to the EU. So Ireland is a part of the European Union, however, it's not a part of the Schengen area. But that really doesn't make a lot of difference here. Because if you have an Irish passport, you can simply go and live anywhere in the European Union. You can even work there, and you can live there as long as you'd like. All the things that you need to do is to go there, spend 3 months there, and after the period of 3 months, just register yourself at the police station in any other European Union. Another part is a visa-free access travel. Ireland passport has the visa-free travel to UK, US, Australia, Japan, and so on. So this is definitely a Tier A passport that you can benefit from. Another benefit is definitely study and healthcare. So when it comes to the study, your children or you can very easily be enrolled into any university, not just in Ireland, but in all European Union countries, and you would get some benefits. For example, if you have a US passport and you want to be enrolled to the university in the European Union, that would be a bit more difficult and the fees would be higher. However, if you have an EU passport, it's a lot easier to actually apply and to get in, of course. When it comes to the healthcare, if you're an Irish citizen, you obviously also have an access to the healthcare system in Ireland and as well in the European Union. When it comes to Ireland, Ireland is ranked as second in 2022 when it comes to the healthcare. Now, the second benefit is obviously business and work. If you want to work inside of the European Union with your US passport, that would be a bit more difficult. So you would actually have to find a job, find an employer, and then obviously get the work visa from them. If you have an EU passport, Irish passport in this case, you can very easily skip the part of finding an employer. You can simply go live in that country and find a job there that way. Another good benefit actually is that you can incorporate the company anywhere in Ireland or anywhere in the EU without any restrictions, of course. Another key benefit of having an Irish passport is that dual citizenship is actually allowed, so you wouldn't have to renounce any of the citizenships that you have apart from the Irish one. And another benefit is that it's extremely easy to renew Irish passport. I know that this sounds a bit ridiculous, but a lot of countries in the EU actually have a bit more complicated renewal process. You have to go to the police station, submit documents, and get a renewal. In Ireland, everything is done completely remotely, and the process is relatively fast. Now, let's see if you qualify for an Irish passport. So, first thing that I want to mention is that every citizenship by descent program has very different rules. It's quite interesting because it all depends on where your relatives were born, how the history worked, the borders of the countries moved, and so on. So that's another quite interesting benefit. With Ireland, it's a bit more simple, and that is why you should definitely go for it in case that you have any ancestors from this country. So for Irish CBD, you can apply through your parents or through your grandparents. That's the last line that will allow you to actually apply for Irish CBD. Now, if we're talking about applying through parents, there are two factors that you need to know. Now, the first one is if you or your parents were born in Ireland before 2005, then you're automatically considered an Irish citizen. Good thing about this is that you can skip the citizenship application process and you can simply apply for the passport, because if you were born before 2005, you're automatically considered an Irish citizen. Another one is that if you or your parents were born in Ireland after 2005, then your citizenship will depend on a couple of factors. The first one is the parent's citizenship at the time of your birth, and the second one is where they resided. Important factor is that usually if we're talking about a residency, what Ireland wants to see is that your parents lived at least 3 to 4 years in Ireland before the time of your birth. If that is the case, then you would be eligible. If you want to apply through your grandparents, you can become an Irish citizen through foreign birth registration. Once you're entered into foreign birth registration, you can easily apply for your citizenship and the passport afterwards. Now let's talk about what this actually means. The foreign birth register is actually used for the persons who are applying for an Irish citizenship based on either grandparents or parents, but were not born in Ireland but their parents or grandparents were citizens of Ireland at the time of their birth. Relatively, the registration is very quick and very easy, and it's also only possible to do it inside of Ireland. Now, if you're unsure if you're eligible or not, which is absolutely normal, you can check our new feature on the website where you can simply input some of the basic details about you, and we would, of course, check it for you if you're eligible or not. Now, I'm sure that you're also wondering, should I acquire my Irish citizenship if I'm eligible? My answer is someone who do not have any ancestors outside of Serbia would be definitely yes. If you're one of the lucky ones who actually have someone born in Ireland, or someone with Irish passport, and if you are indeed eligible, there is nothing that stops you to actually apply for that. It's relatively easy to apply. Of course, you have to collect a lot of documents. You have to search for the old documents of birth certificates and marriage certificates and so on, which I will talk about a bit later. But once you collected all the documents, there is really nothing for you to do. Everything is on the government of Ireland, of course, to review and to get approval. It's cheap. So again, if you're one of the lucky ones who actually can get the second passport this way and not invest in St. Lucia $100,000 or anything like that, I don't know really what's stopping you. And the final one is, well, again, it's reversible. Like I mentioned at the beginning, in case that you regret on getting their passport anyway, you can simply voluntarily renounce your Irish citizenship, and that would be it. Of course, again, as I mentioned, Irish passport is definitely a tier A passport. So I would rather maybe consider renouncing some other ones and keep the Irish passport for you. So now that we ran over the benefits, now that I convinced you that if you have any ancestors born in Ireland, that you should definitely apply, and now that you actually checked on our website if you're eligible or not, let's talk about how you can apply. The process starts with, again, gathering documents. Gathering documents, that can be a very extensive process because you need to search for an old documents. The point of every CPT is that you need to show that you have connection. So if you're applying to your grandmother, for example, the documents that you would need to require is grandmother's birth certificate, grandmother's marriage certificate, grandfather's birth certificate, then your parents' birth certificate, your parents' marriage certificate, your birth certificate, and so on. So that can be quite extensive, actually. Of course, you need to find the old documents. If your grandma doesn't have her birth certificate, you need to find it and locate it. That's what we're here for. We've been searching for the archives since 90-20 or anything like that, just to find the simple birth certificate that would be needed for your application. Of course, you won't go that far, but you definitely need help. Once you collected all of the documents, and again, apart from that, you also have application forms and passport copies and ID copies or anything like that. But once you collected all the documents, you're ready to apply. Again, you should gather all of the documents before you're doing the online submission. Any incomplete submissions or anything like that will be returned, and that will, of course, delay your time for the approval. After all of the physical documents are in the office, it would take approximately 2 years to actually get the approval. I know this sounds like a long time, but trust me, every CBD process, every citizenship process that you apply through this route actually takes minimum of 2 years, so it might be worth a wait. One important note is that if you're coming from the countries such as UK, Canada, US, or Australia, the Irish consulates over there do not process foreign birth registrations. So your process will actually need to be done directly in Ireland. And that's it for now. Once again, if you're one of the lucky ones that have Irish ancestors, I'm not sure what are you waiting for. Now that we went over benefits, now that we went over the process, now that we went over why you should get it, and now that you checked the eligibility on our website, we'll be waiting to hear from you and to help you to get your Irish passport.